to Thomas's active driving performance lounge with the comparison, and we'll start directly with the BMW M5 most sensation. I'll put it here to the M mode, then driving assistance systems are drawn back, and I can also put here the M custom modes, then everything is sportiest, but I put it to the automatic shifting so we have the best performance there, but I set it here to the shifting up latest, so this will be really interesting. We're starting at about 30 kilometers an hour and let the hell out of this vehicle. That's 200. 200 kilometers an hour, 125 miles an hour. Oh my god. Wow, in this special sport shifting mode, it's already like bam, 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 hammering in the gears. What a performance. And acceleration here, just over 3 seconds. Really amazing. And yet you can also go back to this manual shifting mode, then you always shift yourself and the car stays in the gear even when it hits the rev limiter, like this you hear it. No shifting up, then it drops down the RPM of course sometimes because of the power curve. I just want to show you that you have this mode where the car sticks in that gear no matter what. And so shifting yourself of course is also a lot of fun. Wow. So much fun, and of course really great brakes. Here we have the optional carbon ceramic brakes. Whew, this is really an adrenaline rush. Well, now we're in the tunnel. Let's lower the window. Shift down. Nice. So cool. Yeah, indeed, great sound. In the US version, the sound will be even better. In the EU, the exhaust notes are already way more restricted. Oh, there's a Benz Cabriolet coming up, R129, 129. It's actually a very interesting generation there, especially when it's not over-tuned or something, when it's more a capped original. But here, of course, with our 625 horsepower, no one can actually overtake us. At least we just let people overtake. Interesting, by the way, that the suspension here in the competition model, even 7 millimeters lower, and you can use it as an everyday driver. This does work. However, you do feel that the suspension is definitely stiffer than in the, for example, M550i. It is bearable, definitely. You have some comfort losses, but as I said, you can have it as a daily driver, no problem actually. And the special axle setup here, also by BMW M, wow, make the car so sporty, especially in the corners. Yeah, that's really cool. Now one more acceleration with shifting ourselves. That was 80 to 180. And you can see the rev limiter also in the head-up display in that mode. That's of course really helpful, and so you can precisely time your shifts. Am I on a racetrack? No, it's German Autobahn, but sometimes it's like that, but of course safety first as well. Always keeping a distance to the front of us when you're driving really fast. That's the most important thing you can do. It gets quite loud here also at higher speeds. That's notably. Looking forward if that's different in the M550i. Something like the AMG and the true M models, they have maybe some weight savings and so on, and then not most focus on sound dampening and so on. Here at 150 kilometers an hour, that's then more silent, but you also want to hear something of that engine. Wow, and the cool thing is here with high displacement, 8 cylinders, then you can also sometimes accelerate in higher gears. Of course, they won't give the best performance, but I sometimes do that just, to basically experience the old school big engines and see like, oh, there's still something happening, although I'm in high gear. And then when you're in high gear, of course, you have this very low frequency sonorous sound, which is reminding you of, that's what it used to be. And now agile driving up Autogefühl's peak. Let's see how the M5 performs here. I mean, we're in the, I'd say, full-size sedan segment. So there's a lot of weight we carry around with us, but due to the suspension setup, great steering and a nice feeling and so on, yeah, this car still feels somewhat light. Of course, at some point you can't deny the weight anymore. That's of course a natural thing. Steering feel, by the way, I think could be a little bit more feedback. That would be cool. So it is overall good and also feels quite natural and so on. But there I like for example, the Audi setups a little bit better in the RS models. So here, especially in the in the low degree area, this could then be a little bit stiffer or feeling a little bit more progressive, definitely. But here this car handles so well, doesn't lean or roll at all. And remember, the M5 does not offer the rear axis steering that is available with the M550i. That would be something to consider, definitely. And I'm also looking forward how the M Performance model then, so this one here, the true M model, and the M Performance model, let's see how this one performs in here with the rear axis steering. And what's also interesting here, when we put the DSC off and then configure M drive, now I'm in the two-wheel drive mode. You have to have some practice doing that, so most often you don't do it while driving. And for example, then here, two-wheel drive mode, I can do this then around the hairpin corner. And the thing is, the two-wheel drive mode is connected with ESC off, so it's not recommended to do that on public roads. Here at very, very slow speeds, of course, I was looking ahead. So always safety first. But the car is capable of doing so, so if you have closed circuit or something, you can still do that. You still have the possibility. But bear in mind, this car has so much power. And remember, on the very first driving event of the initial launch or here of the M5, a lot of experienced guys were literally crashing the vehicle in this mode. It just has so much power, and you have to be able to control that. So most of the time, I would also really recommend to leave it in the four-wheel drive mode here. But what a fun driving experience. Now the M550i, we put it in the Sport Plus mode, and also to the left in the manuelle Schaltgasse. Listen and repeat. Manuelle Schaltgasse, like the manual shifting alley. And we also start at 30 kilometers an hour. It's, more or less same 8-cylinder block, but of course changes. Can it keep up with the M5? Let's go. And that's 200 kilometers an hour, 125 miles an hour. Wow. I mean, that felt really, really good. Also good all-wheel drive performance, rear bias. The suspension is awesome. It's a little bit softer than with the M5, definitely, but handles so well here also at high speed. You feel, especially in comparison to the competition package, that this one here also sits a little bit higher. But this one here can do both. What an excellent compromise, and you can drive that sport at the same time. You put it back in the normal shifting mode, or you go back to the normal comfort mode. Then the car is more silent, more relaxed. I feel also it's a little bit more silent. Maybe it's also a thing of the carbon fiber roof in the M5 or something that doesn't insulate that well. That might be a reason for that. Brakes, we don't have the carbon ceramic brakes here, but they're still quite good in performance. Not that powerful though. It's not that you would miss any braking point here or something. So the difference between the two vehicles is actually bigger than expected. And of course here, this one is the better overall price performance car and so on. That's already clear before doing the review, But both are a lot of fun actually. But there is really huge difference in the whole attitude of the two vehicles. That is really surprising to me. The M5 always says like attack, 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 even in normal driving mode. And here you have two vehicles in one. Here in the comfort mode, it's more or less like a normal BMW 5 Series running straight on the motorway. Everything is relaxed and so on. Rear axle steering, this is really remarkable. At lower speeds then turns in the opposite direction in the rear wheels than the front wheels. And here at higher speeds, it gives more stability as it turns in the same direction. And it really feels very well. This BMW adaptive suspension one of the best suspensions there is on the market. It's so good that you don't miss an air suspension at all, that it's in a way somehow also even better than some of the air suspensions of the competitors. This is an awesome vehicle. The overall package, of course, is better with the M550i. And the thing is really, soon also the agile driving part is to come up, that we can compare it, with the, driving up the hill. When you're driving this here on the motorway and you're running straight, it will give you more comfort on the long run. So if you more seek this compromise between sportiness and comfort, then this here is the vehicle for you. And the more you think about it, and the more you look on paper, and the more you appreciate comfort, then you will surely end up with using this one here. But then again, when you are freshly in the vehicle, just start driving, and the emotions take over, then you think, shouldn't it be the M5? Yeah, that's always the thing, right? One more acceleration when we are already at speed. That's also 80 to almost 190 kilometers. So yeah, speed-wise, acceleration-wise, it's really hard to pick the difference. Yes, the M5 is a little bit faster, definitely, but I mean, that V8 power is always there already when you have the M550i. And such a great suspension. Definitely suspension setup is more likable here in the M550i because it considers the comfort without losing control or handling or something. Yes, the M5 is stiff and will perform better on the racetrack, but on the road, definitely the compromise, the setup here is better for the M550i. It will still be very tricky. This is not over yet here. At the moment I'm in for what purpose, If I seek more comfort, probably this one, and maybe you should go for the M550i, but you still want the M5, maybe something like this. Let's drive this one up the hill and see how it goes. Now putting in Sport Mode Plus here with the M550i and driving up the hill. Oh, this then sounds somewhat familiar from the V8. And rear axle steering here, if you have the dynamic handling package in the US or the Adaptive M Suspension Professional in the EU, then you also have the rear axle steering, and this is really helpful at lower speeds. The rear axle comes around a little bit more, also reduce the turning circle, so a lot of driving fun here. This feels then as it would have a shorter wheelbase, so in that way, by that option, makes the M550i better to handle for parking in and out, and also is in that way, especially in very narrow corners, a little bit more fun. However, you are always stuck with the all-wheel drive then here. You still have great acceleration, and when you're on that sport mode and the RPMs are turned up high, really flawless. The suspension is definitely softer, a little smoother, so the M5 gives you more aggression, also a little bit more sound. This one here, even when I'm at these speeds here, just a little smoother also from the sound dampening and so on, but performance-wise, wow, also really great. This goes so quick forward, and when we are in the hairpin corner here, yeah, on the one hand we don't have a rear-wheel drive option, on the other hand, rear axle steering, and I feel that this, makes the rear coming around, but I mean, yeah, this corner here is symbolic for the difference between the M550i and the M5. This one you're already really sporty, but the M5 is just the pinnacle of sportiness than here for the 5 Series, so way more aggressive. This one does deliver you sporty driving fun, but you don't immediately come into this harsh adrenaline rush, This one here is more or less a relaxed sportiness with a lot of power. The M5 says, let's go, let's attack. Wow, this was really exciting. Which one would I take home and which one would you take home? Really looking forward for your comments. The thing is, exterior-wise, they both come very close, no doubt about that, and also depending on the color and the styling and so on. The matte color of the M5 today is really, really awesome. Yeah, I really love that. But both colors are absolutely striking. From the interior, the M5, little bit of an adjustment overkill. Maybe that could have been, done a little bit easier because it's not, let's say, a straightforward user interface of how many things you can control there. On the other hand, you have the possibility to control a lot right there. Another big technology difference is that for the M550i, you can get the rear axle steering. So, in this dynamic handling package in the US or the adaptive M suspension professional in the EU, this is really a crucial difference because it makes handling the car, parking in and out and so on, and also U-turns, turning circles so much easier in everyday driving. And also at lower speeds, it gives a lot of agility, faking a shorter wheelbase. This is a lot of fun to drive a car with a rear axle steering. However, it can feel somewhat a little bit unnatural, and then the M5, feels more purist, more direct in the sporty. So I can also understand that they did not go for that. Performance-wise, of course, half a second faster for the M5 in the acceleration figure. Both are really powerful on the motorway. But more the difference is the suspension setup, and that the M5 always says let's go, let's attack. And to me, it was really surprising that the difference between the two vehicles is bigger than expected. Before that, price performance winner is of course the M550i. That was clear beforehand. But to me, I was also expecting that I was clearly say, I'll definitely take this one and goodbye. But I really have to say, the M5 is more fun, more sporty fun, on the cost of a little bit of comfort. So the question is what you like, what you prefer. Of course, the extra price is not really justified on the one hand. But if I could pick one right now, maybe it's more like either go for the top for the M5 or then go for a real price performance model. My favorite BMW 5 Series model I would also recommend to you is the 540i. That's the 6-cylinder already. Get it as rear-wheel drive. And on the inside then the new SensorTech facelift seats in, for example, in beige or in brown to have a nice color contrast. That would be the ideal price performance tip for today. But between these two here, I love the concept better of the M550i. But somehow the M5 got me hooked. So what about you? Tell me in the comments which one would you actually go for, and also tune into more comparison episodes, for example BMW M4 versus Audi RS5, and we have more BMW 5 Series content as well, more other versions, color and trim, the SensorTech seats, plug-in hybrid drive. Also tune into this video there and see you there.